I wish I had started sooner on everything. What held me back and what changed my mind was crazy when I think about it going forward from where I am to where I was. I want to talk about what it took to start. But first, let me start just by saying start somewhere. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that I had to start somewhere. The truth is, no one knows what they're doing, ever. They're just doing things with a theory behind it, and then based on the response that they get, they figure out what works. So you can't expect to know what to do or what's going to happen when you do it. You can only do it and then see what happens. Someone out there is going to hear this advice, and if they take this advice, they're going to do it 10 times better than me. But they won't if they don't take the advice. So just start. The crazy part is when you do start something, especially something that you've been super obsessed over, that you've been trying to weigh the pros and cons over, that you've been trying to cover all your bases in, and you're trying to ensure that you make the best choice possible, and then you just do it. You finally cross that threshold, you take that giant leap, and then nothing else happens. That's the big secret. It's kind of anticlimactic, and actually it's kind of beautiful because you spend all that time and all that fear and all that anxiety and all that unknown, and it's still there, but it's just been lessened by the sheer act of will on your part of deciding to move that one step closer forward. And I'll give you another secret. Moving forward gets easier and harder at the same time. So for instance, when I started my business, the best part for coaching for women, I was super excited about it and I was super nervous about it. I didn't tell anybody as I was going through my coaching training. I really kept it on the down low. I mentioned it to a couple of my clients at work. And then other than that, didn't tell my family, didn't tell my brothers, didn't tell friends until I was completely done with the program. And I had started my LLC and went off and did what it took to actually have the backing behind me to say, okay, this business is started, it is in motion, it is real, it exists. And let me tell you, I thought that the people that were going to be excited were going to be like, yes, I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy for you. That's amazing. How'd you do that? Like in awe of the fact that I was able to actually do that. They weren't half as excited as I thought they would be. And then the people that I thought were going to be like, oh, what are you doing? What is that? I don't understand why you're doing that. They actually were kind of like, oh, cool. They didn't have the reaction that I thought they were going to have. And I share this to tell you that you don't know how people are going to react. You can sit here and be so fearful of your peers and wondering what they're going to think of you. And honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of you. If you want to go after something, go after it. That is your goal that God placed in your heart for His purposes. And His purposes are to work through you. And you know this. So whatever it is that you want, whether it's writing, art, it could be dancing, it could be singing, it could be whatever it is in your life that you're like, I want to help people, I want to go after this thing. I know people who, I'm a hairstylist, I know people who are like, I really want to be a hairstylist, I've always wanted this, but they keep making excuses of why they can't get there instead of trying to find reasons how they can. And that is half the battle there. If you can mentally recognize that you're the one getting in your way, then you have already won. Once you take yourself out of the way, what else is stopping you? And I understand there are finances, and I understand time, and I understand effort, and some things have to line up, but they line up when you make them line up. Let me tell you something. This starting a business was not something that was convenient. It's never going to be convenient for you to go after the thing that you want. You have to decide, is this inconvenience worth it for me? I was watching another video and they put it so well, where they said that there are going to be struggles in life no matter what. If you go after your goal, if you don't go after your goal, you're still going to have struggles. Everybody has them. So are you going to decide, is it worth going after this goal and struggling, or not going after my goal, wanting my goal, but still struggling? So you really have to be the one to make that decision for yourself. Nobody else can make it for you. So in doing this video, I also wanted to talk about what it took to get out of the mindset that I was in, where I kept telling myself, I can't do it, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, all the things that people tell themselves, especially women. Women tend to beat themselves up on a whole nother level. And so for me, it really took me looking around, number one, going, okay, I'm gonna decide right here and now, I don't care what anybody else is gonna say. I just don't care. It doesn't matter because I'm going to do me. And number two, recognizing that other people are out there doing it too. Other people are out there putting their mark on the world and trying to go after the thing. And number three, I had to make sure that whatever I was doing was something that I 100% wanted to do. That's something that I felt a calling on my life to do. And that comes from recognizing that there are values that I value in life, recognizing that I know that there's a purpose in life from my Christian perspective, because I do believe that Jesus Christ died on that cross for me and that my life is aligned with what his purposes for me are. And number three, it really came from me going, time is going to pass anyways. And I'll make a whole nother video on time passing, because that for me was an astronomical thought process in my mind when I recognized if I don't change something now, I'm going to be doing the same thing in 10 years. And I did not want that to happen. Especially because as a woman too, and I know a lot of women are having kids a lot later in life. For me, I did have a child at 33, and that's pretty late to be having a kid when you really think about it. So now my husband and I would love to have another child, and it's one of those things I'm like, I'm in the geriatric zone, geriatric pregnancy. I know women have them in their 40s and it's okay, but I have my own purposes, but I have my own reasons for not wanting to push it that long. But I bring this all up to say that this shouldn't be controversial, but you really, as a woman especially, you only have so much time to do the things in life that you want to do if you want to have it all. If you want to have the family, the baby, the husband, the schooling and the career. You cannot be wasting time. And now if you don't want the kids, that's one thing. You have a little bit more time that you could potentially waste. But when you think about it too, the way that I was raised, we never went out and had financial conversations. We never went out and was like, okay, let's plan ahead. Let's really put our money where our mouth is, and let's invest in these things that are good and that are beneficial, like retirement plans and IRAs, or like investing, period, or like college funds. That wasn't a thing. When I was a kid, my dad was like, if you want to go to college, you're going to have to pay for it yourself. He wasn't even willing to help me fill out an application. He was like, figure it out on your own. Good luck. And I didn't go to college. That's not the only reason, but that was one of the reasons. It ended up taking me a 10-year delay to even go to any type of a trade school or college at all, which is fine. I've ended up, figuring things out for myself. But that also goes to show that who you have around you and the mindsets that you have around you are possibly part of the problem. So there's so many different factors that come into play if you're not being consciously aware of what it is that you want and what it is that you value, and you're not willing to say, okay, I'm going to go after this thing regardless of all these other people's opinions, because it's your life. And I feel that there's a lot of victimhood mentality out there. Listen, okay? I did not grow up rich, okay? I did not have the mental backing of somebody who grew up going to one of those private schools who had everything handed to them, and the parents had the experiences that they could hand down to their children. That was not my experience either. And you can sit here and say, and put the blame game and say, I've had this hard thing happen, I've had that hard thing happen. So what? At the end of the day, you're not sitting in that situation now, are you? And if you are, get out of it. If you recognize that you're in that situation, step out of it, step away, move away from the people and the situations that are holding you back. If you're recognizing something's holding you back and it's something you can change, which let me tell you it is, then step away from it. It shouldn't be this controversial thing. So I'm gonna move on from that topic for now. But another reason that we tend to hold ourselves back is because of this idea that we're not gonna be good enough when we first start out. And I'm gonna tell you something, you're not gonna be good enough when you first start out. You're not. That's just how it goes. With any job that you get, there is always a growth period. I started a job as a host at a restaurant. That first 6 months, I don't know why it was so brutal, but it was brutal. I don't even think I worked as a host for 6 months. I think it was like 4 months or something, but I struggled. And then they moved me up to server because apparently I was doing pretty decent. And then once I served, I understood hosting. And serving took me another 6 months at least to really, and I was asking questions. I was like, what is going on? I'm struggling with timing. There are some things that come out faster. Why are they coming out faster? I had to understand cook times. I didn't understand bread and then appetizers and then salads. And I know that that sounds like it shouldn't be that complicated, but it was to me because I had never been in that environment before. It was a well-oiled machine back in that kitchen. And if I didn't know how to time things, I screwed them up and me up and my tables up. And it was just a whole thing. And so eventually, I was asking questions and I learned, but it was a good solid 6 months to a year of me really struggling to make that happen. And that's not including the first 4 months to 6 months that I was a host. And then from there I became a trainer, then from there I became a bartender, and there was just, I mean, years worth of training and growth that I had to go through in order to get where I was, in order to make the money that I was making and have the shifts that I wanted in order so that I could go to school. But my point is that I didn't just go, this is too hard and I'm done, and leave and never do it again and walk out because it was just too hard. No, I was like, okay, I want to learn. There are people around me who know this, who know how to do this. So let me ask that person how to do this. And that's the exact same thing that you're going to have to do. Whatever it is that you're going for, you know somebody who can help you. And if you don't, go online. The internet has amazing people on it who can help you go after the thing that you want. There's so many people out there who are like, yep, been where you've been. Let me tell you the next step. But you have to be willing to take that next step. But for me, that's why coaching became something that was so big in my life and so big in my heart of where I wanted to go with my career, was because I was already coaching people. I was already having those conversations. But after I got the training, I noticed a shift in my ability to not only pull out accurate information, pull out the right information, but help somebody come to a realization that they hadn't been able to come to before. They were like skirting all around the realization, and then all of a sudden, boom, we were able to really hone in on it and get them clarity. And so coaching for me is just this beautiful process. Not only that, because for a coach, you're not just there with them getting the clarity, helping them see the value, and helping them go from there. You're also holding their hand throughout that process as they're growing, and you're teaching them how to sustain this going from a fixed mental attitude to a growth mental state, and recognize that that is possible, and teaching them, pointing out the areas where, hey, you're doing it again, hey, you're doing it again, hey, you're doing it again, let's shift that, let's shift it, let's shift it. And so that to me was so rewarding, and to be able to experience it with not only my hair clients, but my friends and my family. And so for me, that's coaching is just, it's wonderful. I love it so much because I get to be there with somebody as they go through this growth process, and they recognize, wow, these things that have been holding me back, I can let them go. I can shed this issue that I've been having. And a lot of times the issues that we have, they truly are, they're up here. They're mental. And I don't mean that in a you're crazy type of way. I mean that in a, we have been taught subliminally these things to continue to speak negatively to ourselves, to be overthinkers, to always look for the downside instead of the upside. And I once heard somebody say, I think it was on some type of a podcast, where the guy was saying, as Christians, we should be the most, I believe the word that he used was creative, because we have the source, we have God as our source. We should be able to be like, God, tell me, speak to me on this specific issue, give him our specific petition, very specific petition. This is what I'm going through right now. Lord, help give me this next step. Just guide me to the next step. And I cannot tell you, whenever I started doing that, how many times I got just that next step. And that's usually all that God gives, which is fine. He gives you the next step, you take that next step, and then from there you ask for the next step, because all the things come out. Once you solve one issue, it doesn't just solve everything. You get 10 more issues at hand. Then you have to solve each more issue, and then you get 10 more issues at hand. And that's just kind of how it goes. And so we're going to have those issues, whether we're working on something that we love or whether we're working on something that we don't love. So you might as well work on the thing that you love, and instead of just being like, I have all these issues and my life sucks, be like, okay, well, life is hard, but at least I'm going after something that I care about. Because the problems are going to be there, the challenges are going to be there, but God is there on your side. You have a source. As Christians, we have a source, and we can derive strength off of that source. There's so much that we can do in this lifetime if we just take away our egos and take away this idea that life sucks and that we can't do it, and just recognize that we can, but we need help. And the help is okay to get. The help is not a negative thing. We need to value the idea that the help is worth whatever that price is on that help, whether it's putting yourself out there and being a little bit embarrassed for a little while, whether it's recognizing that you have to go through the growth pains of learning a new skill and then learning another skill and then learning another skill, or whether it's recognizing that, okay, you can't do it on your own and hitting your knees and saying, Lord, I need your help. All of those things come together every single day in order for us to get the momentum that we need to go after the goals that we want. Now, if you don't have goals, I don't know why you're on this channel, or if you feel like you're content in your life, great. I love that for you. You can be content in your life. But there are a lot of people who are content, and I do think that we should be content in no matter our circumstances. 100% we should be content. But there's nothing wrong with being ambitious and wanting more or having a dream, especially when it comes to something that we believe is going to be for the Lord and something that we know is going to be serving others, because that is our true purpose in this life, is to serve others. We are not here for ourselves. We are here for others. We are here for God. We are here to do what He has placed us on this earth to do. We have natural skills. We have natural wants. We have natural things that we value. And there's a reason that those things are ingrained within our internal being. So go after it. Don't let these things hold you back. So just as a quick recap of what we talked about today, I want to mention that we talked about not holding yourself back because of fear, not holding yourself back because of embarrassment, not holding yourself back because of a lack of skills that you might have, not holding yourself back because of a lack of resources, not holding yourself back because of a poor mental attitude, okay? So if you can get over those 5 things and you can move forward, or if you need help moving forward, that's what coaches are there. That's what I'm here for. I help you recognize all of those things and then slowly go after them and make your environment conducive for you to start working on your actual goals. All right? So I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions or comments, please shoot them off down below. I will link my website. I will link, you can book a call with me if you'd like. I will also link, I do have a freebie coming out very soon, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be on clarity, and it's just going to be that first step that I think a lot of people really need. A lot of people are just, I just talked to a woman the other day who was like, I have been asking myself for 20 years now what my purpose is in life. And she was like, I think I know what it is. And it was something, it's kind of abstract. And I think a lot of times that's what happens is people recognize my purpose is I'm a good listener. And they go, what do I do with that? How do I take that and make something of it? And we had a nice conversation around that goal of hers. Just as a side note, if you're having that issue, then having a call and watching this freebie might be exactly what you need, because this is going to help you get clarity. So anyways, I'm really excited about sharing that with you guys. It's going to be coming up here soon. But until then, follow me and follow me on Instagram, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.